I mean, that was one thing I wanted to actually ask LS about. I don't know, I know we don't have a graphic for it or anything, but
yeah,
who do you think are actually the worst two teams in NA right now? Because there's a lot of teams that are, you know, so like the bottom would be Immortals, Dignitas, 100 Thieves is down there.
CLG.
And CLG, I think, looks pretty fucking bad, even though they are 5 and 6, right? So, are they 5 and 7? They're 5 and 7. Yeah. So, so they started 4 and 2, and since then they've been what 1 and 5, obviously. So, who do you think is actually the worst two teams in NA? Like, do you think Dig and Immortals are worse than CLG?
I think CLG is bottom 5. I think that they hover in that regard, and I think that they have a lot of very obvious issues that are not easy fixes, and I think that that's obviously really weird. I'm just looking at the standings right now.
It's really hard, right? Like that's like why.
Yeah, I think it's
like, who are the bottom two teams? Who is it?
I think it's. Oh.
What do you think? Here, I'm gonna pull it up for those of us playing at home.
I think they're all so close, and that's what's awful. This is like that LCK thing where like 5 teams were basically neck and neck with each other, and they just couldn't do anything. So Immortals is sort of 2 teams, right? They have their that's the other thing, right?
Potluck's team and Xmithy's team.
Yeah. So I think the Xmithy team is actually better than the Dignitas team. As weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
And then do not know.
See, this is why I think it's so weird. I think this is one thing that I was considering, because I was asking myself the same question, which is why I asked you, because it's such a hard question to answer. And it makes me wonder, why do we have 8 teams in playoffs when there's a clear top 6 and bottom 4? You know, like I can say confidently, I believe that Golden Guardians...
There's the bottom 5. No, there's the bottom 5.
Well, I think that Golden Guardians is clearly better than CLG, 100 Thieves, Dignitas, Immortals at this point. I'm confident in saying that.
I wouldn't.
Golden
I don't
Guardians?
think I'd actually say that. Yeah, I don't think I'd say that. I think in like a best of 5, I think drafts are really big, and I think closer can only do so much in an extended series. With a lot of variants. Like I don't know.
And
I mean, I guess
I don't think it's cut and dry.
And their 2 wins this week were against Dignitas and Immortals that were, Dignitas like showed up to collect a paycheck and not do anything against Golden Guardians, and Immortals they almost threw.
That's true.
Like they didn't know how to close it out.
Yeah. I mean, Golden Guardians, I feel like they're a type of team where I feel like they have the opposite trajectory of CLG. So that's like why I think that there's a break between them and CLG. Like CLG started 4 and 2, and they're 1 and 5 afterwards, and then Golden Guardians was 1 and 4, and since then they are, or were they 1 and 5? They're 1 and 4, 1 and 5, something like that. And then since then they're either 5 and 2 or 6 and 1. Or,
the thing for me is that CLG should have beat Dig in that game. I think there was no reason for them ever to lose that game against Immortals. Though their draft was able to be produced in a toilet. And I think like even though they got ahead, it was never really enough. I remember them being like 3,000 or 4,000 gold ahead in gold, and I'm like, well, they're actually still behind. And Twitch chat like flaming me, and I think that's really weird. I don't know. I mean, 100 Thieves is like barely edging out the bottom 2, in my opinion. I think Dignitas, no matter what, is absolutely bottom 2. I think the other team that accompanies them, that's really hard to say.
Yeah, so like if you were just to like throw a prediction out there and you're like, which team is actually going to be bottom 2 with them? Immortals, 100 Thieves. I guess you could say Golden Guardians, CLG. Who would you say?
Oh God.
I'm putting it to him, man. I gotta get the answer.
Hold on. What are the remaining matches? Hold on, one sec. Let me look at this. Or do you just mean in skill level, not like what the end standings are gonna be?
I mean like what the end standings are gonna be.
You're gonna be okay.
Yeah, so it does matter like strength of schedule looking at it.
Well, CLG has some nightmares coming up, but they also have some good ones.
I mean, I think that's the thing about CLG is CLG's lost in the second half a lot of the games that they probably wanted to win, like the fucking Immortals game, etc.
Yeah, the
That's a
Immortals
hard
and
one.
Dig game. Yeah.
You lost the Immortals and Dig game already. It's like, so now you got the fucking C9. I mean, TSM is whatever, right? I guess, but you got the fucking C9 TL coming up, gonna get clapped.
I think it's CLG or
Had to be CLG or Immortals, right? I mean, I think
It's the
thing
guess. You don't have to be right. Just go with your gut here. We had enough. Like, what was it? 3 minutes
Okay,
of
hold on,
waffling
hold on.
here. Come on.
Okay, hold on. Oh, Dom, hold on. You say yours first. Hold on.
Okay, so this is like the question for me, right? I think that CLG is in the bottom 2 teams right now. I think CLG, Dignitas, are the worst
okay.
teams in the league.
Week 7
But-
decides it. CLG 100 Thieves. Whoever wins, the other one is bottom 2.
Oh, so you think Immortals is better than them?
I think Immortals can actually like.
Jesus.
The problem for me is this, right? Like this is where it gets difficult for me. I think that Immortals is better than CLG and 100 Thieves. But for me, the question is, are they going to be able to win enough games to catch up with like CLG? Like, are they going to actually get 2 wins out of the last 6 to even like tie them? Could they get 3 wins out of the last 6? I think CLG and Dig are the worst 2 teams. That's my interpretation. I think that those are the 2 teams that are going to be out. But I know that LS doesn't want to become Lost sponsor here, so
No. It's not that. It's about the schedules, but also here's what's going through my mind. Even if Immortals suffers losses, I think the players they have more on the line than CLG, who could maybe just implode, and 100 Thieves, who could also implode. Because these teams are already having they're having roster swaps. CLG is now coming off of 2 losses that they should have in theory won. What is that doing to their mental behind the scene, right? I think there's a lot. So I'm factoring in a lot of psyche to this, where I think that Immortals has more potential upside, and the fact that CLG and 100 Thieves can actually break each other's back next week, I think is huge. I don't give credit to CLG or 100 Thieves to not mental boom in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. I feel like 100 Thieves is probably mentally a lot better, or they're a lot more okay than CLG right now.
Yeah.
Because 100 Thieves, like their losses, they lost to TL this week. Who was their other loss to?
Is it TSM?
Because they went 0-2. It was TSM. And like those are so they lost to TSM, right? They haven't lost a bad team in a while. Plus they had they won versus Cloud9 recently, and I think they had a 2 a week that week as well. So I feel like they're mentally more okay than CLG, where I feel like CLG feels like they can never win a game again. They're like, dude, we just lost to fucking Insanity's Kog'Maw on stage. Like, how can we fucking win? It is actually just doomed for life. So that's why I just believe that CLG is going to end up bottom 2. I just feel like they're so bad that they might not win another game. Like, I would not be surprised if they end the season 5-13. Or 5-13.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised.
I mean, they don't have any easy games, as LS has already said. So I think it's Immortals. I think it's Immortals and CLG. I think Dignitas swap back in lore low, and they'll scrape by because I think Johnson and Afro are playing too good to get themselves out. Whereas I think also Immortals dug themselves too big of a hole. Like if you went the worst 2 teams, it would be I think it would be Dignitas, CLG, but I think Immortals has too big of a hole, so to climb themselves, to pull themselves out. So I think I'm going with Immortals and CLG on the bottom here, because CLG has already played those bottom teams except 100 Thieves. So there you go.